Listen, we only get one shot at this.
Why not live life on our own terms? Hey everyone, it's Tom Kradza, and on this episode of the Your Life, Your Term show, Nick and I sit down with Dr. Cowan. He's a naturopathic doctor who both of us have worked with. I work with him regularly. He helps me out with a bunch of his stuff. Nick and I chat with him about our gut health, mental performance, just everyday supplements that we should be taking, hormone levels. We go through it all. Recovery, I kind of drill him on recovery a little bit because that's something I'm always trying to work on. Sleep levels, HRV, the whole bit. He's a great guy. He works with everyday Canadians all around the province here, and he also works with elite level athletes as well. I'm trying to get him, I'm stuttering over my words. I'm trying to get him to work with the Toronto Maple Leafs because I really want to get them a competitive advantage to win the Stanley Cup. And I know he works with some other NHL teams that we can't mention, but I'm really trying to get him in with the Toronto Maple Leafs so he can optimize their performance. It's my own little way to help us Leaf fans win the Stanley Cup, but I'm going way off base here. So anyway, he's a really good guy. We could sit down and talk with him for hours. I feel like I could just pepper with him with questions forever. So if you're working on your own physical performance, mental performance, trying to improve your recovery and your sleep, he's somebody you definitely want to listen to. All around fantastic guy, great information. Before we get started on this episode, I just want to mention that if you are looking for any sort of real estate investing information, you can check out our YouTube videos on YouTube at www.youtube.com/rockstarinnercircle. So all our YouTube video content is out there. It's available at www.youtube.com/rockstarinnercircle. If you go there, you hit the big subscribe button, you'll get notifications of every time we're releasing a video. I think the latest one out there is me rambling on and on about debt levels and the debt super cycle here and why we need to be paying attention to central bank digital currencies. So that's the latest one out there right now. Depending on when you listen to this, that could change, obviously, but that's available on YouTube at youtube.com/rockstarinnercircle. That's enough for the intro. With that, let's get on with the show.
Are you ready to live life on your terms? Is it time to take charge? Real estate, business building, the economy, health and nutrition, and more. It's the Your Life, Your Term show with Tom and Nick Kradza. Are you ready? Let's go.
We are live with Dr. Cowan and Nicholas Alexander Kradza. And Nick, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Well, the joke I was going to do is not going to work now, so I have to say yes.
Yeah.
Because you've had 4 false starts trying to make it work.
This is our fourth false start. But I really couldn't hear Nick, so we actually needed to start over. But Dr. Cowan, thanks for being here. And which you can't say names, but are you helping an MMA fighter dominate the world right now? Are you still working with MMA fighters?
Yeah.
UFC fighters?
Yeah.
So
there's a bunch of them.
Come closer to the mic.
Come closer. Okay.
So the in that world, before we go down some of the cognitive performance stuff, in that world, what are they coming to you for? Just endurance, overall performance?
Yeah, overall performance. So like peak energy, peak mental alertness, recovery.
Recovery's got to be a big one. I can't imagine what those guys do on a regular basis.
Yeah, recovery is a huge one. Nutrition, weight cutting, leaning out, improving strength, improving actual sports performance, all those things.
I just had a discussion about recovery because the CrossFit Games were last weekend. I don't know if you looked at any of them.
I kind of
it's
did
not
a
the
little
same,
bit,
right?
yeah.
But what those people do to their body in a 3-day period, to be able to even function after one day, to function the second day, then to function the third day. And the last workout was, 200 pistols. It was 100 handstand push-ups, 200 pistols, 300 pull-ups, and then a 2-mile run, a mile before
300 pull-ups.
With a vest on. Yeah, 300 straight. And that was the last workout of the 3 days.
I don't care if you're kipping or not kipping, 300 pull-ups.
And I was just thinking, I'm like, how can they recover from the 2 day? Like, what kind of recovery practices do these guys have? And I know they're all in very good shape.
I thought you were going to say, I know they're all on steroids.
Well, and I was just going to add that in. And some of them are probably on steroids, right? But and that's what makes me think, I'm like, you've got to be on something, because how can your body go through that much and recover on a regular basis. And I'm sure they're beat up by the end of it, but just to be able to function after 3 days and do that type of workout.
Yeah, I would say most of the pro athletes, it's not, well, some are overtrained, but usually it's under recovered. And that's why we use a lot of analytics to measure that. You know, we talk about HRV, we look at blood markers, we look at hormone levels, we look at everything to see like how well you're actually recovering. And then like beyond 48 hours of muscle soreness, like you're not recovered.
So what do you do? So it's
beyond 48 hours.
Yeah. So if you have like delayed onset muscle soreness, it'll last for up to 48 hours. So if you did a CrossFit workout now, you could have soreness up to 48 hours. If it goes past that, then you're not recovered enough to kind of go again.
Got it.
Which is a problem, right? Because most of our, especially our UFC fighters, are training, 2 to 3 times a day. One day off a week, 6 days a week.
So what kind of thing what kind of things do they do or change? Like what type of thing do you see them have to do to be able to continue that pace up? Because that's not easy.
Yeah, I mean, we always start with the basics. I mean, obviously nutrition, replenishing your body with carbs, proper sleep, deep sleep, things like that are sort of like foundational pieces that a lot of athletes, when they come to us, haven't done that. Most people haven't done that. They just sort of work out and think, I'm going to be fine the next day.
You can beat your health, your body up that much and just like eat good and sleep a little bit better, and then you're going to be able to keep doing it. It just seems like a lot. Like the volume just seems a lot to me. Yeah,
and then obviously you want to get like some manual treatment, some physical treatment, probably like massage therapy, something like that, and then even like cryotherapy, cold immersion, things like that to get rid of inflammation. So
it's just a combination of everything. And if you're doing it full time, you can spend hours a day on recovery.
For sure.
You can take a nap and then you can spend more time doing all that type of stuff as well.
So you're remotely checking their HRV levels, and then so their HRV, so the heart rate variability comes in at a poor score, and you're advising them just take an active recovery day, take a rest day, that kind of thing.
Well, but plus we can also improve HRV. You can do like sensory deprivation, you can do deep breathing exercises to kind of get your nervous system to calm down. HRV is like a marker of how strained your nervous system is. So you can reset that. There's a couple evidence-based ways. Those are the two main ones. And then we're looking at deep sleep percentage.
Sensory deprivation. That's like you say, locking them in a box.
Yeah. No. Yeah, like float tank.
Got it.
And they have them all over now. But the float tanks, they fill it with magnesium and water. You basically float for an hour with...
Have you done this? I still have never done this.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We got to try this.
Yeah, you got to try it.
Charles had a float tank place. I don't know if it's still open.
I think it was one that guy sent me actually a gift card because he came to one of our events.
In the era of COVID, are we doing these?
A year ago, and I haven't used it. It's still in my inbox. I think somewhere buried in the inbox I saw. And because I told myself I would, and I just never made time to do it.
Yeah, you can try it and then watch your HRV scores because you can see them improve. But we've done that with our Olympic athletes, with our NHL guys, and we can see that change. Even for people who are just like high performers like you guys, working hard, pushing yourselves every day. I just had someone yesterday who I said, you should go in the float tank once a week. She's like an executive and she's just stressed.
Why? Because the float tank, you're noticing a change in HRV immediately afterwards or next day?
Yeah, like quick. Yeah, really quick because your whole nervous system's relaxed. It's like getting super deep sleep all in 1 hour.
Oh, look at Tom, man! He's sold. He's sold, and in 2 months, he's gonna be preaching it to everyone.
I got a season's pass at the float tank. Yeah. Okay,
we can get those, and I have no affiliation to them anyway. But just looking at the evidence and seeing what we've seen with our patient base, float tanks.
The reason I'm interested in that is just I noticed myself, my HRV I struggled to. I guess my nervous system is just too active or whatever. And if I ate after whatever the last advice you told me was 8 p.m. Then I think we tried 7:30, and just the earlier I moved it up, it seemed to help my HRV, and I felt better the next day. So anything I can do to help my HRV, I know the next day it's better.
Yeah, and that's because of the cooling thing. I think we talked about it last time. So if you're eating too late, all the foods in your digestive tract, the blood goes there, keeps your core temperature high. So when you go to sleep, your core temperature is supposed to drop really low so you can get deep sleep. So we see huge fluctuations on deep sleep percentage. Like you want to aim for 20% deep sleep to know you're getting like a full recharge. But we'll see. Actually, we have a CrossFit guy who's pretty high up there. He was having trouble on his HRV scores and not getting deep sleep, pulled his food back a little earlier, and then we were hitting 22%, 25%, 28% deep sleep regularly. And then that would translate into much better recovery. much less soreness.
What are you using for these, like remotely for these HRV scores, the readings that you're getting from these guys? Are you using like a Whoop Band or Aura Ring or a combo?
Anything, whatever they have.
Anything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Aura Band.
Because you have that other app that you're using where you put your finger on the phone's camera.
Yes.
Really?
We
See that one? Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
It works?
Yeah, it does work. Yeah, it was created by a PhD in Italy. We've been using that for a little while, but if guys already have or girls already have an Aura Ring or a Whoop Band or even an Apple Watch will give you enough analytics.
Does it do HRV now?
Yeah.
The new one, because I remember it came out with more stuff. Okay, I didn't realize
it does HRV and it does all those metrics. Deep sleep percentage, breaks down the
and you
light
think the
sleep,
Apple Watch does HRV accurately? I don't know why I've dismissed
you
it.
can put your damn finger on the phone.
No, I know. I just thought compared to the Aura Ring and the Whoop Band, which to me seem much more advanced pieces of technology in that regard. Right. I thought the Apple Watch was a little weak.
Yeah. I mean, the Whoop Band's on the wrist too. I mean, I haven't seen any data on like which one's more accurate or not, but we'll kind of match it up to the individual and see if that matches their picture. And then if we change things, we can track the changes. Like we can monitor all those improvements in terms of how they feel, how they perform, how they recover. And hormones are a big part of that too. So if your hormones are really depleted, doesn't matter what you're doing nutritionally or whatever else, you're not going to get that maximum amount of recovery. And then the foods you're eating, and I know we've talked about this before, but if you're eating a lot of foods that are reactive or inflammatory for you, your baseline of inflammation is much higher. Then you go and train and your inflammation is even higher. So you've got to come all the way down to then recover.
That base has been the biggest difference for me when you helped me out with the food. That has been the biggest difference.
Yeah.
But on that HRV stuff, I've noticed, sleep and food. I've never really thought too much about sensory deprivation, like a float tank or even just kind of turning off everything before bed for like an hour. Not really good at that. Yeah,
that's a hard one to do. But the reason why that's effective is because you're not getting the cortisol from the blue light to your eyes. That tells your brain to be awake and it blocks your sleep pathways. So anyone who's a high performer that we have, like
I've never really believed that one. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I just discounted that one.
Yeah.
I just found that I don't know. I guess I didn't do it enough or measure it enough because I was wearing the Whoop Band for a year, but I never really tested that thoroughly enough.
Yeah.
Like closing down the computer a full 90 minutes, let's say, or even 2 hours before bed to see if it makes a difference.
Yeah.
That I don't know. I should have tested that more.
It is good to leave one variable. Like I like to do that. I'll kind of keep everything the same, change one variable and you can see the difference, and then change one other one you can see, because individuals respond differently, right? Like we have different plans and kind of game plans for everyone depending on the person, but that would definitely help because you're not going to get the blue light stimulation in the eyes, or you can wear those blue light blocking glasses to block the blue light.
Do you have to get expensive ones for
No.
those?
No, you don't.
My daughter bought a pair for herself. I don't know why she figured this out. She's like, I really need to get these. Can I get them? And I think they were like, I don't know, $19.
Yeah, they're not expensive.
Okay, and those are good?
Yeah.
Because she's been wearing them at night. I'm like, what is she doing?
Okay, yeah.
But she's more advanced than I am. The other thing is that Nick got me that really helped was that chili pad, bringing down my temperature.
That's the whole point.
Yeah. That really helped. So putting that under the mattress or just under your sheet, and it runs that little stream of water that cools you. Yeah. That one was really good.
Yeah, and that cools your temperature so you get deep sleep. But yeah, we have a lot of our pro hockey guys, a lot of our NHL guys will travel with the chili pad. They'll bring it with them.
Really?
Yeah. And then a lot of our business guys who were traveling before COVID, if they had to be sharp for the next day, we'd get deep sleep on the chili pad. They'd go and do their meetings, fly back the next day. Or whatever.
I'm shocked. There must be a different version of that chili pad too, because some of them have big pumps.
Yeah.
Does alcohol keep your body temperature higher?
It does, and it also messes your REM sleep up.
Okay. Mm-hmm. No, but I'm just curious because I think I woke up. I wasn't drinking a lot, but I think I had a few drinks and
I was hammered. I was hammered and I woke up.
Yeah, I was wasted. I
so
stumbled
warm.
into the.
Took all my,
I was sleeping on the tiles next to the toilet, and
I got a question. When I'm hunched over the toilet and I'm throwing up,
is this good?
Is that a sign that my HRV is going to be off in the morning?
So no.
When I'm praying to God that I will never do this again.
I promise.
Remember when you're young and you just drink too much? You're like, yes, you promise to God. You're like, I don't know if I fully believe in God or not, but God, if you're out there, I promise to you, I will. If you help me through this, I will never.
I remember being young and the room starts spinning. You're like, oh man, are you kidding me? This is really going to happen to me right now. Yeah. But but I had a few drinks, a few glasses of wine or something, and I couldn't get a good night's sleep. And I know that's typically alcohol, but I did specifically that time. I remember just waking up warm. And I'm like, oh, it's funny. Like it's the heat, I think, that's waking up my body right now and keeping me, preventing me from getting sleep. But I just wasn't sure if alcohol, if that's just me making that up, or if alcohol actually keeps your body temperature a little bit warmer, which is one of the reasons that it's going to impact your sleep.
Yeah, a little bit of both. And that's the same reason why women who have hot flashes are waking in the night, because they're so warm. They're just waking up. They can't get to deep sleep. They're just waking up constantly.
Got it.
I should try that chili pad too.
Sure.
Yeah, no, the chili pad's great. Okay, on the mental performance side, I wanted to ask you a couple of questions, and then we can get into what you're doing. But a guy on our team here, Anthony, he swears by I'm just reading it
Looks
off
like
here.
a bag of Coke.
Yeah, it does look like a bag of Coke. He swears by L-theanine that he
Yeah.
puts in his coffee.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I haven't played with this one more, because I've read about it for years. So what's the deal? What's happening with this thing? And this is what you put into coffee?
Yeah. Can I see that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Straight from Mexican cartels.
Yeah.
It's
I don't know where he got that bag. Maybe that is a bag of Coke.
well, with that type of label,
Maybe
that type
that's
of
a
label
bag
that says sample, you're like, what the hell is this? You try it,
You look
Dr.
really-
Cowan. You try it. Let us know what you think.
You
how it
looked
goes.
very suspiciously at that package.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell Anthony.
No, L-theanine is a good hack because it's basically an extract out of green tea, but it calms your brain waves down. So it'll calm your brain, but it's not a sedative. Just calms you down, but keeps you focused. So if you combine that, we may have told Anthony this before, because we promote this a lot with our patients. If they have to do presentations or business meetings and they have to be really sharp. So if you pair the L-theanine with caffeine will give you the energy and mental energy, and the theanine will calm you down so you don't feel jittery.
Yeah, you'll get the
It's
clarity.
just like pure focus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's like a little hack.
How much do you
L-theanine.
mix? And can I mix that into a little espresso?
That's what I was looking at, because it says 25 grams, but it doesn't tell you how much per like scoop.
Yeah.
Usually you would need.
Who knows what he's pouring
Yeah.
into his coffee, man?
Usually we would have our patients taking it in tablet form, so it's like controlled
Oh, really?
dosage. Yeah, so it's like a chewable, but it would be like 100 milligrams or maybe 200 milligrams with like a shot of espresso or something.
Okay.
And that combination really gets you like laser focused.
And I'm so sensitive with my digestive tract. That won't mess me up there.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one I want to try. So I'm going to bug you then for what the brand you recommend and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want to take his
Yeah, looking at that, I wouldn't take
his
that one either.
Coke laden. Okay, so that's giving me that. And then I have a question for you on MCT oil in a second. But this one that I've been monkeying around with, I don't know if you're coming up with a product like this or not, but these ingredients, particularly the CoQ10 and PQQ, mixed in with some caprylic acid. So what's caprylic acid? Just like a coconut oil, or just oil. But the CoQ10 and PQQ, sometimes I take those two ingredients and the clarity I get is ridiculous. It doesn't seem to mix well with coffee. Whenever I take it close to taking coffee, I don't get the same effect. But if I take it on a somewhat empty stomach, so I don't know if my body's not processing a lot of other stuff. This stuff, these two ingredients give me an insane amount of mental clarity. Like so much so that once I think I took too many, because I think it tells you to take 2 max a day, and I took 6 before a training class just to see what would happen. And I was starting to see, this is going to sound, I know how ridiculous this is going to sound. I was starting to see my words in my brain before I was speaking them.
Starting to see sounds.
No, I swear. It was the weirdest thing. I was seeing words and I feel like I was processing at 2 different times. I was seeing the words and then I was speaking, but I could actually consciously control them both.
Okay.
I know that sounds ridiculous,
Yeah, I know.
but I felt in complete control.
You're in the zone.
I know. I never got that after that one time. I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm
Can
going
I
to
see
take
that?
6 again. Yeah. But
Let's see what he says about this crap too. Yeah.
But I probably shouldn't have taken so many of them. But that does seem to work pretty regular on me.
How was that
regularly.
on your stomach? That many ampules?
I don't remember. Was that tough? Is that
Yeah,
tough?
because this is coconut oil. It's like MCT.
I thought you were about to say Coke again.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what though? I can take an incredible amount of MCT oil.
Doesn't bother.
Nick, we were at a conference once and there was this one supplier giving out a concentrated coconut oil. And they're like, listen, do not take this whole capsule. You're going to be running to the washroom. I'm like, you don't know who you're messing with. I downed the whole thing. Nothing.
Wow.
I don't know what it is with me. I can take it.
Yeah, so this guy is a combination. So CoQ10 gives your cells energy. This is like a mitochondrial type of product.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how it's advertised.
Yeah,
for
so it's
sure.
giving you all your cells energy, so you're going to feel energized in every way. And then the caprylic acid is the coconut extract. So that's giving you like ketones. So ketones are like brain energy.
Yeah.
So, if you get into if you're doing intermittent fasting and you get past, 16 hours, your body starts to, it starts to pull body fat from you, break it in your liver and create ketones that go to your brain. And ketones are like brain energy. So this combination would work well. There's also some...
So you think that's a decent product?
Yeah. I mean, I'll say this. I've had people have no response on PQQ, just don't feel any difference. CoQ10 usually has an effect because it's going to give you all your cells energy. So you're going to feel like energized in some way. And MCT works well if your nutrition's really good and matches it. I've seen MCT work better. Let's say that.
Okay, because I'm going to ask you a question on MCT in a second, but that type of product, those ingredients, can you just stimulate your mitochondria too much? Like, let's say you take those every day. Because I find what happens with me, I'll take it for a couple months and then just naturally I'll stop taking it for like 6 months. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Can you take that kind of stuff regularly, or is that just too much?
Yeah, anything that's like brain boosting, you kind of want to use it when you need to. Like, think of it as like a strategy. Use it for a certain thing and then come off it for a little while. There's not really any evidence saying it's going to do something specific, but just my own thoughts on that. You kind of want to use it when you need to use it and then come away from it. But there's another really cool nutrient. I don't know if you've heard of alpha GPC. Have you guys heard of that?
No.
So it basically stimulates something called acetylcholine in your brain, and alpha GPC gets through the blood-brain barrier, so it actually gets to your brain, but it uses choline to make acetylcholine, so it increases acetylcholine, so it gives you massive focus for long periods of time.
And this stuff's okay?
Yeah, alpha GPC is another. These are all called like nootropics, like brain boosting substances. Like it's like a class of types of things, and some of them are pharmaceutical, some of them are natural. Yeah, alpha GPC is a really good one too. And then you could combine that with ginkgo biloba, which
now this just sounds hilarious.
Yeah. Have you guys heard of that? Ginkgo? No.
I remember just buying ginseng. For some reason I got a flash. Remember those little ginseng capsules?
Yeah. I used to take them before soccer, ginseng capsules and hockey. Yeah.
But no, not heard of ginkgo.
So ginkgo keeps the acetylcholine. It doesn't allow it to break down. So it keeps you in that like super focused state longer.
And you think this stuff's okay?
It is okay. And again, you'd want to do it in sort of when you need it. Like if you're sitting down to write a paper, or you're doing a presentation, or you're, something where you want to have massive focus, writing a book or something like that, and then you'd want to come off it for a few days.
Are you selling that stuff yet?
We aren't, but we're looking at making a formula like that because the research is really amazing on it. They're actually using it in Europe, alpha GPC, for dementia, cognitive decline, with tremendous results.
Really?
Yeah. They're seeing results like clinically, but then also just in the trials, like in the research trials. So alpha GPC is legit for sure. And then when you combine it with the ginkgo, it allows it to work longer, so it can stay active longer. But again, you don't want to do it all the time. And then it has a ton of performance benefits too, like physical performance benefits that are just kind of a side bonus. Like you could use that pre-workout, for example.
Why? Because then Nick's going to lift more weight if he uses this? Or he has more endurance? Is it an endurance thing?
Yeah, both. So yeah. So
why is he going to lift more weights? Because it affects his nervous system?
Yeah, so so it improves physical performance for sure, and then the mental side too. So you just have more focus, and you can.
Okay, so you have more focus. Got it. And then it's giving him more cellular energy, and that's why he might have a better workout.
Not really. So the GPC is working more on that acetylcholine thing, which is like a brain chemical, like like dopamine and serotonin and all those types of neurotransmitters. It's working on that angle, whereas the one you're asking about here, this is more like mitochondria.
Okay, got it. So that's at the cellular level.
Yeah.
What you're talking about is not the. Yeah,
it's different. Yeah. Okay. This is like it even says actually on here, power up on a cellular level.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah. So mitochondria are like the powerhouses of your cells. So they convert food into energy. If you remember back from like high school biology or whatever.
I do. I remember coloring them with pencil crayons.
Yeah, they look like kidney bean shaped things.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah,
I hated doing all that.
Yeah. So mitochondria are really good for metabolism and energy because they're converting food into energy more efficiently. So if you improve mitochondria function, you'll have more energy, be able to stay leaner, better metabolism.
Here's what I'm curious about from the people that you see. So athletes are one thing because they're, when you're operating at that level, that extra 5%, 10%, whatever it is that's going to give you, that makes a difference in that world, right?
Yeah.
So for the average person that comes in, because for a while, I mean, maybe it's probably still popular. I haven't heard of it, but the biohacking term was really popular. And, for a lot of this stuff, for so many people, I'm curious what the people that you see, they are looking at that as the shortcut. They're like, oh, well, I should be playing with that instead of just, and I'm a caveman. Okay. So I'm caveman. I'm like just a bull. I just get up. I do what I got to do. I just try to eat well, and I don't sleep enough. I should sleep more, but I try to get relatively good sleep. And all this stuff is like not a load of crap. Like it works, but I'm like, if you're not doing that, then all this stuff is like useless anyways, isn't it? Like,
No, you're right.
Yeah, you want to have a good foundation, obviously.
And I think that's what frustrates people with this. They just want to take this as a shortcut. Because I think if you fix your sleep first and you eat well, you're going to get like 95% of all these gains. This is the last mile.
Yeah. I just think most people won't even make it to that point because they're going to feel so good from fixing the other stuff that.
Agreed. But I remember feeling frustrated when I would read a book on biohacking and it would say, hey, you can take this CoQ10 stuff. It'll do this, this, and this, but don't take it if you haven't fixed your sleep or fixed your diet yet, and feeling like, oh, this is bullshit. I just want to take this stuff and get the benefit now. I want the cheat.
Yeah, the easy.
But now I finally realized it's sleep, digestive system, the whole bit before getting to this.
And that's what our whole approach is based on, that, like build a solid foundation. And these would be like the optimization tweaks.
These are the toys at the end.
It would help at the end, or if you need some, like if you really have something pressing to do business wise, maybe you need to be using something like, the alpha GPC or something for that purpose, but you still got to fix the underlying pieces for the long haul, right?
Yeah, agreed.
The other thing for, I want to tell you about the mitochondria. There's a certain type of B12 that's really good for quick energy. It's called the Dinosyl B12.
People don't have to come and live at my house. How am I gonna take all this stuff? I don't understand what to take. What?
But people are looking for.
Carol's asking me like, "What are you taking now?" I'm like, "Actually, you know what? Let's not talk about it. I'm just taking this stuff and we'll see what happens."
That's why I don't do it. It's too much work.
It's a lot of
I
work.
can't figure this stuff out.
And that's the thing too. We don't want to see people taking 25 things. And if you look online, you can see all this stuff. But you want to be using the things that are going to work well for you for that particular reason.
Tom, you were drinking those little capsules for like candy. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna have another one of these. Oh yeah, I feel good.
This stuff?
Is that what these are?
Yeah,
that's
what
those things.
You know why? Because I like testing them all out and seeing what works. And then now I've eliminated, because at one point I think I had Mike does Hormone on our team. Him and I were laughing. At one point I think we had 50 to 60 bottles of different stuff that we were trying.
Oh, I saw a picture of Mike's little closet
and we were
at home
adding
in
up
his
how much
kitchen
we
or
had
whatever.
spent on all this stuff. But the reason that we were both testing it is that I liked seeing what works.
Yeah.
And now I've eliminated all. And the last two standing are the CoQ10 and that one. I really do feel a benefit. So I don't have anything else. And the MCT oil. I find this one's more like a sledgehammer. It's like I can take it anytime. See, on that one, on the CoQ10 and PQQ product, that cellular energy stuff, I feel like a bit of an empty stomach, not mixed with coffee. I don't know why. It works better for me, or at least delay the coffee 30 minutes or something. Don't take it at the same time. But the MCT oil, I feel like these are just pure ketones, and that whenever I need a quick shot of mental energy. So for example, we do a heavy workout, or what's heavy for me, not for Nick, and I'm exhausted the next day, but we're going to do a podcast. And I'm just mentally exhausted because I'm so physically exhausted. Okay. I can find that if I take some coconut oil or MCT oil specifically, I will get mental energy.
Yeah.
Like clockwork. Any time I take it.
Because that's like brain energy.
This to me is just pure ketones for the brain.
And same with
so I'm not looking at that incorrectly?
No, that's right. Yeah. And you can also take like exogenous ketones as well, like just taking ketones, because that's kind of one step closer, but your body will convert that anyways, MCT to ketone, and then just pure brain fuel.
Yeah, you gave me, I think, that other ketone product that I really liked that I ran out of. I gotta bug you for that. I feel like you're my dealer right now.
Natural.
Anthony's the dealer. You can see.
As long as you put a label on it, we're good.
Because what was that product? Was that straight up ketones?
Yeah, just pure ketones.
Yeah, that was good as well.
Yeah, that's it. I'll use that one if I need quick brain energy. If I need to have the focus, I'll use the theanine and the caffeine together.
I should try some of this stuff, because you know what I do? I'm like, you're a loser. Wake up and get the shit done that you got to do. That's what I do.
Whatever works, right? Maybe that's your...
Yeah. No, it's just now that I've tried it enough, I'm like, oh my gosh, if I'm in this state, I know how to get myself out of that state.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like.
And these things are useful too if you're sitting down and you've got to do something and you have to get it done by a certain time and you just can't get it together. I don't know if you ever had that, but the deadline. And then these are the kind of like little hacks you can use that actually have evidence on them, right? There's so many things out there, but you have to know like what it's going to do, what are the side effects. Like, we're careful with I can talk to you guys about these things because you guys are patients already. I know your history and all that.
I was using, I wasn't drinking coffee, but it was kind of like a bulletproof coffee without the coffee. So I was having it, I think it was just water. I think it was water, and then the
way
grass-fed butter.
The way I heard it is like I was having this coffee that was just water.
Well, no, the drink was,
yeah.
and I mean, I don't know, it was called something else, whatever.
Yeah, wasn't that one called fat water or something? Or is that
No. It was in a blender, and it was hot. It was the hot water, and then
yeah.
it was with like some vanilla bean. It was like vanilla beans,
bean extract.
Yeah, and then it was the fats, the MCT oil, and the grass-fed butter. And I think that was
collagen
kind of
or
it, and
something.
maybe some collagen.
Okay.
And that was it. And I actually liked it. In the morning, I was like, it was a good thing. And then I found that if I buckled down, and then what I would do is I would use brain.fm, which is a website, and it's just kind of like focus music and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I would put that in it, and I would drink that. And I don't know if it was the habit of doing it, but then I could sit down and I could get a few hours of solid kind of like just plow through some stuff. I still use brain.fm regularly. Like I actually really, that's beneficial for me.
That was the bulletproof hot chocolate, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, it was like a vanilla latte or whatever they
Yeah,
called
yeah.
it, but it was
That's
something
right,
like
that's
that. It was
right,
in
that's
it was in
right.
the book. It was at the back of the book, but I just didn't want the coffee side of it because coffee most often makes me a little bit jittery, and I crash kind of decent off coffee, so I'm not a big coffee person.
Yeah,
at
I
all.
agree. Yeah, it messes with your cortisol and all that. But binaural beats are really good too.
I keep hearing about that.
I have beet
Yeah.
powder that I got from somewhere, and I've only had it once or twice because it was revolting. So I could only drink it a couple times.
Oh, no, I mean for the sounds, music.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about beets. Yeah.
Yeah. No, beats are good.
Nick's
What's
just
it
on the
called?
food. Give me good
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
And he's got that's his
Binaural beats are like certain frequency of music that gets your brain to focus. It's kind of like the beat,
The
whatever you said.
brain.fm. So it's a different product. Yeah.
Similar, but you can download it on or have them on Spotify. You can just search for it.
Oh, okay,
It'll
cool.
have binaural
That's good
beats.
to know.
There's focus ones, but if it really works well if you combine some of these things. Have the binaural beats going. I find that I do that too.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think we both still use brain.fm all the time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
right?
well, because when they were launching, somehow we heard about them, and we got a lifetime subscription for like one flat rate that wasn't too expensive, and there was only like 3 types of music before. Now they have multiple different, so we got fortunate. So that's why I use that, but I could look at that.
What is it? An app? It's an app.
It's just a website and
a
an
website.
app. Yeah, it's an app too.
It's really good. And then, okay, so just on this, some of the cognitive performance stuff, why is it at the end of the week on Friday when I'm somewhat exhausted by that point in the afternoon, I can take some of these things and they're not going to have an effect? Is that just my body's so, like it'll have a marginal effect, but now I'm just so beat down, back to Nick's point, that like I just need sleep and proper nutrition.
Yeah.
Because I do notice that this stuff works well when I'm in fairly good shape. Like I'm well rested. Maybe I've worked out. But by Friday, I've noticed I can take some of this stuff and I'm just so exhausted. It's not really helping.
Yeah, I think you just like your brain uses 25% or more of your like energy, right? So if you're using your brain constantly, people think of physical energy like we talked about the athletes, but your brain uses up a ton of resources, right? So you're probably just mentally tired by that, and then it doesn't work as well. Same with caffeine. Like caffeine works better if your baseline is good. If you're just if you haven't slept in so long and you feel terrible and you're eating terrible stuff, it's not going to work as well as it does if you've slept well, you're eating well. Kind of everything works together.
When you work with executives, so on that point about the brain using that much energy, so when you work with executives and they're in meetings or they're dealing whatever they're doing all day, do you tell them that they need time off to let the brain relax? So like, should they go for a walk at lunch and thing, or whatever it is, or just go in the bathroom and sit on the toilet and close your eyes for 10 minutes? Like, I don't know what it is. I used to be, when I was young and I used to go out to like a club a Thursday night till late, and I used to go to my full-time job after. I'd go into actually that one of the toilet stalls, and I'd put my head, never forget, how you did that, and I'd put the toilet seat down just so everyone's very clear what I was doing, and I'd put my arm against the toilet roll holder, and I'd put my head down and I'd just try to take like a 5 or 10 minute nap. When you're up all night at that age and you're like, those 10 minutes was like the best thing in the world.
Yeah.
So I don't do that anymore. But so is it worthwhile to give people like just really just make sure you're giving yourself some downtime throughout the day to give your brain a break?
Definitely. Yeah. 100%, especially with all the computer work these days. But yeah, we try to advise our executive business patients, at least a couple hours a day where you're not using your brain. So whether it's at the end of the day or you want to break it up, you need like at least a couple hours. It's so hard. Yeah, and it sounds easy.
Especially in the current time.
Does reading a book count?
Yeah, at least you're not getting all the visual stimulation. It's not like the screens and everything like that coming at you. But you need to take a break from, if the reading is not pertaining to your business, it's just like fun, then it's fine. Because most people who are in business or entrepreneurs, if they read something, it's probably going to try to benefit them business wise. That's what they're going to read, right?
That's why I'm asking.
Yeah.
Selfishly, I'm like, so if I just read all this stuff that I'm backlogged in reading, does it count? No.
We have a guy actually right now. He has 8 or 10 hours of meetings a day with no breaks.
Oh my god.
No.
They're in boardrooms. They have everyone's there. It's like,
Why is he doing that?
That's just how they do their thing. He's like, I don't even have a break.
That's
can't.
prison.
He's like, people can't eat. We'll all leave at the end of it, but they have like hardcore meetings.
They're doing
like
some massive merger or in the middle of some massive acquisition. Or something. But that's okay.
That's tough.
The other thing you can do real quick is nature. The 2 ways to reset yourself or restore: get outside for a walk, like somewhere outside, go for a hike, or get deep sleep. Those are the two.
You could take your scooter into the forest up there.
It's the walk. To me, it's the walk, and I don't do it regularly enough because it was when I first start the walk, I'm almost anxious about. I'm like, man, I should be doing. There's a few things I got to get done, but when I do take the time to go and just kind of reset, it makes such a big difference.
It's funny you're saying
me.
that. You remember how I told you I had only seen one other naturopathic doctor? I totally forgot about one I saw in my 20s. Somebody at Oracle told me that there was this doctor in Toronto. I never understood this thing. I went to go see the guy, and he kind of looked through my eyeballs to try to see my blood cells. Does that sound accurate? Anyway, that's what he was doing. But he said, you know what? Going for a walk every day. You're newly married. Going for a walk with your wife is going to just save your life. Do that every day. And I never forgot that advice, and it's been so good. And I hate going for walks. Like, I hate them. But Carol, my wife, loves going for walks. And I force myself to go with her as often as I possibly can. And just that walk, every single time I come back from it, I just feel more calm, more at peace. We have good discussions for so many reasons. It's the best thing to do.
Yeah, actually, on that note, even like a 10 to 15 minute walk that's fasted, like if you went for a walk first morning, you'd use up your liver glycogen, that's stored fat in the liver, which helps you stay leaner, helps to activate metabolism. 10 to 15 minute walk in the morning that's fasted will do that, which is
why is
kind
the
of
liver storing that if it's not good for it? Oh, it's just holding extra energy.
Yeah, it's like an extra tank. Yeah, so it holds
Okay.
up. But you can kind of take that out just by doing that walk in the morning, and then you're outside, and the oxygen coming in raises like mood, brain circulation. There's so many benefits from just a 10, 15 minute walk.
Okay, so when I go to the gym and I kind of lift some heavy weights, the next day, if I'm exhausted,
You've mentioned the exact same situation multiple times.
No.
It's
It's
traumatizing.
it's
For you,
traumatizing to me because I want to be operating at peak performance all the time. So when that happens and I wake up the next day and I'm physically tired, but I'm mentally tired, but I can't afford to be mentally tired. What is the best thing to do or food to eat in that moment? So I'm physically exhausted because of the previous day. I'm in that recovery mode. We know from my DNA that you straight up told me I recover poorly. Yeah. Remember you said that? Yeah, remember you said it.
I think the term was that you're a delicate flower.
Yeah, I'm delicate flower. And then so in that moment, what is the best type of food to be eating to give me energy for that day?
The morning of or the night?
The morning of. I wake up and I'm like, damn. So maybe my HRV is not perfect, right?
Yeah.
And I haven't got the best recovery, but I need my brain to be on.
Yeah, so then you want to have a balanced meal. Like you don't want to be doing fasting. You don't want to be doing any like low carb stuff there because you need sort of a balance to help your nervous system. So some sort of protein, carb, fat balance there.
Okay, because what I found is on those mornings, I go to carb. I'll have oatmeal and some maple syrup, and it helps me. But normally, I hate having that in the morning. But on those days, so you're thinking I should mix in some protein?
Yeah, I would put protein in there and then maybe even add a bit of like nut butter, like almond butter or something on top of that, or cashew butter, just to give you a little bit of fats there.
For satiating purposes, or the fat's doing something else?
So the oatmeal as the base is all carb, right? So that'll give you like a bit of energy, but you could have a downswing with that. And then you could also be looking for carbs. If it's just a carb dense breakfast with maple syrup, you're going to be looking for carbs all day and your energy is going to go up and down. Okay. So if you round it out with some fats and a bit of protein, it kind of stretches that energy out so you don't have the crash. But yeah, on a day.
That goes back to the next point, just eating properly that morning. Okay.
Yeah. That's not a day you want to do fasting.
Which I found if I'm trying to do like nothing until noon, those days I can't do it. Like my body's telling me I need food. I know it is.
And you guys are lean guys too. So like the duration of fasting for you guys shouldn't be that long. The duration of your
I
intermittent
don't know how lean
fasting.
we are anymore. I ripped my dress pants after COVID. I bent over, ripped them right. I had to go to the store. I had to go and get new pants. Too many gluten-free cupcakes.
Too strong.
Too many gluten-free cupcakes. I don't
too
know
much
about
muscle
too
mass.
strong anymore.
Yeah. So that's one thing people need to know too, because a lot of people are doing intermittent fasting these days. But if you're already lean, the amount of time you can do shouldn't be that long. But if you have a lot of body fat to lose, you can do 24, 48, 72 hours, 5-day fast with support. With
That's something I've never tried, and it's because I want to keep going to the gym, and I'm sure I probably could, but I've only done 24 hours. There was probably about a 6-week period. There were once a week that I was just doing a 24. I picked whatever day. I think it was a Wednesday, and I would do a 24-hour fast because Thursday I was taking off going to the gym, so I would do it from Wednesday night to Thursday night, and it was easier than I thought. It was actually quite to do from one night to the other night. It was like it's actually was
So
the easiest
what
thing.
would you do with that? What would you coach us through as the first longer fast? Would it just be a 24-hour one to start?
If you have no experience doing it,
Yes.
I wouldn't go right to that. I would do, so we generally will say 12-hour eating
we've
window.
done 12. Oh, yeah.
So let's say
we've done 8-hour eating windows.
Okay.
16 hours. No
You've
food.
done all those? Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why you want to baby step into that is you want to teach your body how to use different fuel sources, how to use food as fuel, and then how to use your own body fat as fuel. So when you don't eat, it uses body fat. So if you've done a 16, then you can go to a 24. The easiest way to do it is, let's say you're doing it. We often have people do it Sunday to Monday because they're kind of undoing some damage from the weekend. So they'll have dinner Sunday night, go to bed, sleep most of those hours.
You told Mike to be doing this recently.
Did I? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then through the day, Monday, you're going to have fluids, maybe some minerals, maybe black coffee, maybe a green tea if you need to help yourself
Which
get
minerals?
through it. Just like potassium, salt, like stuff like that, sodium,
Okay.
potassium mainly.
Okay,
Just
like electrolytes.
Yeah.
Isn't that cheating though? Having
Why?
coffee and green tea, like shouldn't it just be water? Like
you'll get a better result if you just do water for sure. But caffeine helps to suppress appetite, so not everyone can make it. So if they're like wake up in the morning and
And how many
they're
calories
starving,
are in black coffee? Probably none.
none. Yeah, it's
Okay.
low. It's really low. But then you'd have dinner Monday night. So you go Sunday night dinner, fluids throughout the day Monday, and then have dinner Sunday night or Monday night. That gives you 24 hours. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Otherwise, you're waking up in the morning. Let's imagine you wake up the reverse. You wake up Monday morning and you're like, okay, no food for the day. And then you're going to try to go all the way through. It's a lot harder. So at least you've got to make it to
and
dinner.
the benefit from that is going to be what? I'm going to just get my organs, be kind of cleaning them out.
There's just so many benefits. So depending on the length of the fast, you get different sort of benefits as you go.
Okay, so for a 24-hour fast, what am I getting?
24, you're going to get so increase in growth hormone, dropping of insulin. So you're going to access some more body fat.
Just
to
in a
burn.
24-hour fast.
24-hour, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, past 16, you start to get the growth hormone coming up. And then
Why
when
is
you
it always past 16? 16 is so easy.
Yeah.
Why is it always the hardest stuff is the best stuff? And I know in life that's how it is, but okay.
I think of fasting as almost like a healing tool, because if you're not putting food in, you can drop inflammation, heal your gut, kind of reset a lot of things. It's also a really good weight loss tool. They did a study comparing like calorie restriction versus fasting, like intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting did better and had other hormone benefits. But when you get deeper into the fast, you get something called autophagy. In 2016, there was a Nobel Prize for it. It's basically your body starts killing off damaged cells, damaged proteins, damaged things in your system. So it kind of resets everything from a deeper level. Like all those damaged cells will go around, and if they gather together, they create like a mass, a tumor, and then that can get lodged somewhere. So in terms of like anti-cancer perspective,
that was beginning at what?
20,
40,
beyond 24.
Beyond 24.
Yeah, you start to get into autophagy and inflammatory markers start to drop.
Yeah, I think we both have to do this a little bit.
Can you?
I don't want to, man. I'm lazy.
But can you work out like so? It's for me. I don't know. Sometimes I'm actually probably don't eat enough sometimes for what I do. Or at one point I wasn't. So 24 hours is no problem. But then if I do the 24 hours, can I go then to, just depending on how I feel, I guess, I can just go to the gym the next day and do whatever I normally do? Or
what kind
I
of workout though?
pull
Like a CrossFit workout?
Yeah. I mean, I usually do some
Squats.
I do 45 minutes of weightlifting, and then I don't do a lot of CrossFit work. I just do like a 10 or 15 minute kind of conditioning workout at the end.
Yeah, if you're going to do heavy lifting, you'll get a better result if you're eating for sure. Yeah. Like if you eat something before and you lift heavy, you'll get a better.
Okay, just adjust things.
Well,
slightly.
that's a better result. But can he go and do it and be fine?
You could. I mean,
The way
could
you're
see-
hesitating,
Yeah,
I'm-
you could see how you feel. I mean, I know how, like, you lift pretty heavy.
I'm caveman.
Yeah, I know.
Not from the lifting. I'm just gonna go do it
Yeah.
anyway. So
Yeah,
we'll
he's
see what
gonna-
happens.
Remember we were going for the 400-pound squat at one point?
We did. We got it.
Yeah,
we got it.
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I
so
think I gave myself a slight hernia with it too, but that's okay. I got the squat, so I'll take the hernia with the squat as long as I got it.
priorities, you know what I mean?
Yeah, generally you want to go easier. If you're doing a deeper fast, you want to kind of have a lighter workout. You want to be going too heavy or too much resistance on those days.
Okay,
Yeah.
just risk of injury.
Yeah, risk of injury. You're just not going to have a great workout. You're not
Okay.
going to be able to lift as much. You're not going to feel great.
And then how long can, like, what would be a reasonable target to aim for fasting? Like, should you try to build up, if we can get to the 24-hour and then let's say we can do a 48, should we have this weird goal of trying to one day do like 5-day fast twice a year or something like that?
Yeah, like so that, and that's why the body fat matters. So the leaner you are, the less fasting duration you can handle. So like I would do a 24 hours, see how you feel, maybe push to a 36, push to a 24 or 48, but you guys probably wouldn't want to go beyond 48 because you'll get an adrenaline spike, a cortisol spike. You'll just feel terrible. If you had a lot of body fat to lose, you could do like a 3 to 7 day fast.
Fab was in here. He's pretty.
You'd want to
light.
have someone guiding you on this stuff though too, right? Like
When you get to those long ones, I think you need to.
Yeah.
How long had he? We know someone who's pretty lean. He was just in here doing a podcast, and he had done like wasn't he on like day 3 or 4 of a fast?
I
And
think it
I
was
feel like
day
he's
3,
single digit body fat percentage.
He looks like it would be, yeah, for sure.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, see how he feels after after 48 hours, because that's when you'll notice
Got it. Okay, and then the transition from your body being able to use your own body as fuel, so being able to process ketones as energy instead of just carbs, that for me was mind-blowing like 7-8 years ago when I first did that, and I could feel my body making the change because I went through a 2-week period of feeling like I had the flu. Like it was horrible. So that was my body's engine, or my metabolism understanding that it was going to process ketones, and the ketones were going to come from where in my body? My liver?
Liver, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's just your body. That's that period your body has to make that adjustment. It was a horror show because I was eating so much bread and stuff. And now I know I don't have the afternoon crashes anymore. I know I process ketones. And if I need to supplement, I'll take some extra ones. But I don't get that afternoon crash anymore.
Yeah, it's called metabolic flexibility. So you want to have that because if you're depending on food for energy, you'll do a roller coaster of energy all day. You'll eat food, energy will be good. And then a few hours later, once it's digested, you're going to crash again. Then you're going to look for food again. So if you get off that train, it's more sustained energy to use your own body fat stores. You just feel like it's more true energy. People just feel like, oh, I just have like good natural energy for longer periods.
And so what's changing in my body? When I say my metabolism's understanding to use ketones, is that accurate? That's what's happening?
Yeah. So basically, if you're not putting food in, you've got to go to body fat stores, pull them into your liver and break them down and turn them into energy.
Okay, got it.
And that's how we've survived as humans. Like we've gone through periods of time where you couldn't get food. Like Nick, the caveman back in the day, you wouldn't be able to find, if you went for periods where you couldn't find food, your body has to make adaptive mechanisms to be able to survive. Otherwise you couldn't find food. And if you got weaker and just, weather away, but instead your growth hormone would come up, you'd feel more anabolic, you'd be able to get more brain energy, more mental acuity. We've talked about this before, but the military uses deep fasting for accuracy for shooting, like long distance sniper.
Oh, I forgot about that
as well.
Yeah.
So, but I guess evolution takes a long time, because what I'm thinking is, well, I agree with what you're saying. And when I hear that type of stuff too, I wonder, I'm like, yeah, but that was a long time ago, for like, in North America, let's say, and I know there's different circumstances in other parts of the world, but there hasn't been this kind of those circumstances where people have really been searching out food for quite some time. But I guess the evolutionary side of it takes long. Like what I'm saying is a long time is not really a long time in the grand scheme of things.
Maybe
right?
the perspective could, because that's a good point. It's making me think about it too. So I guess the perspective that we could use is that sugar and carb has really come into our diet hard since, let's say, 1960s on, and then that's been the cheat. And our body just said, "Oh, you're taking all this carb. I'll use this as energy.
Exactly.
Forget these other processes that I know have built in." So like maybe, because I've never thought about the way you're saying it. You're right.
Yeah, but that, and also what I'm thinking is a long time. It's relative to my age at 40, right, or whatever, 42.
Sure.
Versus what's really a long time is
human history.
Yeah, it's substantially longer. So it takes longer than that. But that's a good point as well about what you're saying.
And in the caveman days, like what kind of carbs would you have come across that would have been like horrible for you? Like berries? which
Yeah,
would have
yeah.
been like low glucose anyways.
Yeah.
You know, like
yeah,
you
you
wouldn't
weren't
have,
taking
you
refined.
wouldn't have been able to spike your blood sugar like you can now.
So
You
we've
know.
basically all been on a food drug for 50, 60 years.
Yeah, because
Really?
now when you think about it, those days where you're like, I'm going to go have, that dessert was good. I'm going to have an extra piece and I'm going to try the other one on the table too.
Yeah, there's no stop.
You're
yeah.
really flipping, hammering your body pretty good in those circumstances, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And then your body has to deal with that and process all of that stuff, right?
Okay, so for mental performance, what else can we be? Is there some other ingredients, or how do you work with people who come to you and say, "Hey, I really want to, achieve peak performance, a peak mental state"?
Okay, number one. So we're talking about foundational stuff at the beginning. So gut health, number one. So we'll fix their gut, find out what foods work with them, which foods don't. If there are certain foods that are giving you inflammation, we want to pull those out because already that's already ruining everything else you want to do, right? So you can take all the PQQ and alpha GPC, whatever, but if you got all of this gut inflammation, it's going to make you foggy. It's going to give you brain fog.
I got to interrupt you there just for a second, just because I don't try a lot of this stuff, right? Caveman. But at one point, I was like, Tom's like, look, you got to go talk to this guy just because he's really good. And I'm like, I don't really have any problems, so I'll go talk to him anyways. Yeah. And then we found out that I was getting some kind of bloating after certain things that I ate. It was kind of like, but sometimes I was getting it, sometimes it wasn't. You're like, well, you're kind of getting like some false positive reactions, whatever you were calling it. Anyways, you put me on this horrendous diet for 4 weeks, which was a terrible experience. However, I got some supplements after. It was like Adrenal Man and some black licorice root or something. And my God, I was Superman. For those 2 weeks, because I'll never forget it.
Yeah, when he fixes you up, you are Superman.
Because we were renovating our house, I was actually had moved back in with my family, with my 2 kids, moved back in with my parents, was driving substantially more to get the kids to school and stuff like that, like from the east side of basically Etobicoke to Oakville to get them to school in the morning, dealing with all the renovation stuff, coming in here, working all day, doing all the stuff they have to do. And I'm like, how? And I'm just running myself into the ground. And I'm like, how am I not sick yet? Because I've been at this, usually after a few weeks, you can feel your body starting to run down. I'm like, I've been at this for like 10 weeks and I'm still going. I go, I don't know what's going on right now, but I'm Superman. So I
remember that era with you. Because he was walking in going, I don't know, man, I'm on fire.
I remember that too.
Yeah. So, that is like.
And then you just get off it. You slowly just
we
all
like,
do.
Yeah. Well, then I'm like, okay, well, I'll start introducing a little bit of this, a little bit. And I'm still, I learned a ton, and then you can understand your body at a different level too, which is beneficial because you can't live in, unless you want to, but it's harder just to live that straight line way all the time. You kind of veer off and then you come back on. And, but yeah, I guess the reason I'm saying that is because I'm the guy that's like, I don't know, do you need this stupid crap? And that type of stuff. But with that type of stuff, it does make a big difference when you don't understand what's going on. You can have some big impacts on it. So it's a long form testimonial from the skeptic in the room.
Nick giving you big props there.
Yeah,
Nick
it was
doesn't
great.
hand that out too often.
I just want that. I thought it was just those pills and that licorice root. I'm like, I should just stay on this stuff all the time, man.
Yeah. And that's why we check gut health with our patients once a year, and we'll check hormone health once a year because they have such a huge impact on how you feel, how you function, your mood.
So is that step number 2? So gut health, then hormones?
So for mental performance, I would say, so let me preface it with this. The biggest problems we see are gut problems and hormone problems. So we're looking there first. So people usually have tons of gut problems. So we want to fix that, repair the gut, make it work properly, fix hormones because they'll affect your mental alertness. If cortisol is too low, DHEA is too low, your mental alertness will be really low. So once you fix those things, then you get, a huge amount of improvement. Then you can toy around with some of the optimization stuff.
Okay. So how far are we? So then gut health, hormones, and then you can do the tweaks with some of these different ingredients and that kind of stuff. How far away are we from me wearing some blood monitor where it just goes to your database of some sort and you're just like, well, Tom, these markers are off? Like, is that far away?
It's not that far because, and I used to have one just to try it out, but a continuous glucose meter. So you can stick it.
I was just going to ask you about that. I've seen them. So you just wear it and then there's a separate device, or is it on your phone?
It just sticks onto your shoulder. It has a little needle in it. It gets into your capillary blood.
And you wear it day in and day out?
You just wear it for 7 or 10 days. And then you can track, basically what you're eating, what that does to your blood sugar. You'll see it on your phone.
Oh, now you're all excited.
No, that's something.
Now you're all hot and heavy about something.
I've looked into blood.
He's back in.
Yeah. No, I've looked into the blood sugar monitors before, but I didn't see that one because I saw the ones and then you have to keep getting the strips or whatever to test them. I'm like, I just don't think I'm going to keep poking myself all the time to do that. But I've always been super interested in what things do and where my blood sugar's at.
So then
there's a couple specific reasons which we don't discuss now.
So it'll just be an
that's
add-on to the Apple Watch soon enough.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, because it's just
Little
an app that you
accessory
can
to the
monitor.
Apple Watch. You plug that in, because then if Dr. Cowan gets that data, then you could just advise in real time almost.
Exactly. Yeah. And the cool thing is and one of the reasons why we started doing the continuous monitoring at one point was for our NHL guys, because there was a study that came out showing that different carbs would spike sugar in different ways. So you guys would both have oatmeal, and you'd see a different blood sugar response based on however you process those carbs. Or you would have bread and you'd have a great response, and then you would have bread to be horrible.
I know mine will be horrible.
Right? But so it gives you some insight into your own. I mean, the whole point of all this stuff is teaching people how to be healthier and what to look for and empowering them, right? That's the whole idea.
Are you helping the Toronto Maple Leafs yet win the Stanley Cup or what?
No,
you're helping competition, man. You're helping teams. I think I know some
All
of the
the other
teams
teams,
you're
yeah.
helping,
Hey,
and
man,
it's starting to piss me off.
You know what? When you anchor, you got to anchor to winners. You know what I mean?
It's
For his
starting to piss me
reputation,
off.
for his reputation, he can't anchor to a losing
I've
team
wanted
like
him
that.
to send a FedEx package to Dubas and explain to him. And you know what? I'm going to write the letter on your behalf. I'm going to sign it off, Dr. Cowan. I'm gonna say, but I know how to help the Maple Leafs get maximum
But when
performance.
he's worried about them losing 50 games next season, he's like, I can't be their doctor because now they're going to associate that poor performance with me.
Somebody
That's what I'm
needs
saying.
to help the team. I'm willing to put in the time and effort as a fan on the side to help them win the Stanley Cup. And when
Can
they-
you help Joe
Nice
Thornton
guy.
perform
Nice guy.
like he's 25 again, or is he going to perform like he's 42?
No, he's going to.
What is he, 41, 42?
41, I think, right now.
Yeah, there's, I won't get into it, but there's a ton of good anti-aging research on right now. But yeah, there's a lot of ways
Why?
that
Where
you
do you
can.
think that's headed?
I think that you can measure biological age versus chronological age and
Yeah,
see.
with those telomeres or whatever.
Yeah, so you can see how Nick was saying how much he beat up his body back in the early days.
So before you sign him, you can probably check his telomere length or whatever that stuff is and see his biological age.
Yeah, and the other term like that's floating around is called inflammaging, like inflammation aging together. It's like an actual medical term
No way,
now.
that
Yeah.
sounds like just one of those propaganda
It
terms,
does,
man.
yeah.
That medical term that started
like a
on
marketer.
TikTok somewhere.
That's a marketer that just said, "Here's what we're gonna do."
But you can start looking at things like that and then employ different strategies to improve your biological age.
So by the time I'm 47 now. By the time I'm 80, we're talking another 30 some odd years. This shit's gonna be crazy.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, look at the advancements just in gut health over the last, 10 years ago. Did you know what gut health was?
No.
Right now.
But not only that, some of this information is in your profession going to be delivered via AI because they're going to crunch so much data. You're going to be able to plug this stuff in, and your profession is going to change on where you're advising.
Well,
Because
just look
some
at the
of
DNA results they did with you a couple months ago. Just look
Because
at
you'll
that.
be able to get DNA results and some gut health stuff, and then you're going to be advising at a much higher level because you're just going to be doing the fine tweaks. That base layer for everyone is going to be like outsourced to AI. Let's face it.
Yeah. And that's kind of how we look at it now because we take all the data from the different lab tests, genetic testing, pile
But
it
it's
together,
still
and then
it's still a little clunky.
it is
Because
yeah,
I was just saying that I'm due to get my blood work tested. I still have to go and do these things when it can be all centralized. Like when the glucose monitor is part of the Apple Watch. And how would I check gut health? I guess you would still have to
stool
do
sample.
Yeah, that's
Just a little.
the Apple Watch isn't going to take a piece of shit.
You just have a little robotic thing flying around in your tummy.
The Apple
drone-
Watch
a drone
in.
comes?
Can you imagine the Apple Watch opens up with
Let
a
me
little
just take that out of your
scooper,
toilet.
a little scooper, and just scoops it, sucks it into.
That was still a really terrible experience to have to get those stool samples. That was not fun.
But mine
Yeah.
was really weird in that the little collection thing, and I know it's changed, were French fry cups.
know,
They
it's
literally
crazy.
had French fries on the side of these cups.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That was crazy. I'll just never forget squatting in my shower delivering these samples.
That's too much. That is too much.
That is crazy. The stool test is crazy though because it shows you, what's in your gut. So many people don't realize there's things in there that are impacting and not letting them get improvements hormonally, not letting them get energy improvements, causing sugar cravings, causing crashes. Like a lot of that has to do with what's in your gut.
When I walk, so if I go for a walk or a hike or something in the forest and I see some animal poop now, I'm like, I wonder what that, because you can tell from the shape of it. If
That's what you're
because I'm
thinking?
like, if it's sick, then that's how people track these animals, and they understand if they're healthy, sick,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, like that's what they were looking at.
Exactly, yeah.
That's what that made me think. I learn from my things, man. I learn about the world. I'm one with nature. I don't know.
You're a
You gotta-
cultured guy. Look at racehorses too. They'll check their gut bacteria
Yeah.
constantly to see like what kind of shape they're in, like how healthy are they.
The poop tells the story, man. It's all about the poop.
It does.
Yeah, I just never thought I'd look at animal poop thinking how healthy
That's
it was.
why I'm like, if that a raccoon poop, and I wonder if that raccoon's healthy or not. What kind of enzymes are in that pile of poop? But hold on, one other question, just right now, just because we're entering winter now, we're in Canada. Vitamin D. There's much more talk about vitamin D, especially around COVID.
For sure.
And the percentage of COVID patients. Recently, there was some study. It wasn't a big study. It was like 250 or 300 people. They removed 40 people, so the number's even smaller. But the headline, the media headline about 80%. I think it was in the UK, someplace of COVID patients were vitamin D deficient. So whether it's COVID impacted or not, I'm not getting into political stuff right now, but vitamin D in Canada in the winter, should we be looking, should almost everyone be looking at that as like a serious supplement while we're here in these dark days?
For sure, 100%. Like it's the number one deficiency. I just had my vitamin D shot. I just came from our clinic. We do like injections there, but we check blood levels first. And then I just did a 50,000 units in one shot.
Yeah, okay, so that was the other thing, because on the little dropper bottle, it says like
1,000.
Yeah, and I'm like, from what I'm hearing, more and more people are like, it's not 1,000. You do like 5, 10,000, whatever the number is. I don't know, but so like it's going to be different for everyone. But
yeah.
if you're taking a couple extra drops, you're probably not going to kill yourself because of it.
No, yeah, it takes quite a bit to be toxic to vitamin D. Vitamin D is fat soluble, so you'll store it in your system. We always blood test our patients. We know exactly where they're at, and then we can dose them appropriately for the fall, winter. But yeah, past like mid-September, you don't get any more UVB from the sun. So you don't get any more vitamin D from the sun. Then whatever level you had there stays with you until the spring. So that's a good one to improve.
You tested me to know how much to give to me. What was that? That was just a blood test?
Blood test, yeah.
And you were looking in the blood test for what again?
Vitamin D marker.
There's a vitamin D marker?
Yeah, there's an actual marker that can tell you. There's a few different ones. You need to do the 25OH one. That's the one that you can check the actual proper amount of vitamin D you have. The other thing that people should know that I think most don't know, I was actually at a health food store randomly this morning, and people were buying out all the vitamin D. They must have seen that article yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, one lady took the row. She had the row.
Now there's a run on it.
Yeah,
toilet paper.
But it is fat soluble. You can take too much vitamin D.
You can, yeah.
I've taken too much vitamin D, and I know for my own body, like I'll get constipated. Like there'll be weird things that start happening.
Yeah, we've only ever seen one. I've only ever heard of from a colleague a toxic case from vitamin D.
Okay, so I don't mean toxic. I just mean it was. I could tell it was too much.
She thought it was one dropper, but the dosing was one drop.
Oh,
she's using one dropper every day. Her hair started falling out. She had liver toxicity, but she was doing that for like 2 years straight. You have to take quite a bit. The other thing people should know with vitamin D, though, it relies on magnesium to absorb.
so if you're low on magnesium, it's not doing anything?
Yeah.
Race to the health food store. Run on magnesium.
How do you even know if you're low on magnesium, though?
You can test that as well, but magnesium is the number 2 deficiency. So no wonder why people are vitamin D deficient, right? They're not taking vitamin D. They're not in the sun. And they have the magnesium. Those 2 deficiencies are the most common.
So the easiest way to get magnesium other than a supplement is what food? I don't know what comes to mind. Like potassium, I think bananas, but magnesium, you got to supplement.
Yeah, supplement's easiest way.
Why do we have to supplement? What are we missing?
Yeah,
in
why
our
do
diets?
we need it if we have to supplement? That's where I get those gaps always confuse me.
Yeah, chocolate has magnesium. Seafood has magnesium. There's some different sources, but there's not really a great source. And magnesium gets dumped when people are under stress. So if you're under high stress, your body will push out magnesium and zinc, some electrolytes. So I think there's a connection there with like stress levels and magnesium being deficiency. Then if you don't have magnesium, you can't absorb vitamin D as well.
Okay, so
like there's a connection there.
Some of it's our lifestyle that normally we might get enough magnesium in whatever trace amounts in our diet, but the stress level in our lifestyle is making it dump, and then we can't replenish it fast enough. Jeez, man, this is way too complicated stuff. Okay, so then go ahead.
The other reason why we do, speaking of, I had the vitamin D shot today, but we do IV therapy in the clinic too when you talk about a modern technology, because then you get 100% absorption of all those nutrients.
Because it's right into the bloodstream.
Yeah, so I just did a performance IV just now before I came here. So it's magnesium, calcium, amino acids, zinc, electrolytes, B vitamins, B12, all mixed together. We mix them there. Like we have a license to do that.
Can we get a performance IV while we're in the float tank? Then we're talking. Then 2 birds with one stone.
And we'll take some of this CoQ10. Our brain will be on fire. We'll be freaking out while we're in a calm environment. It'll be perfect.
Yeah, but IV is a cool route because we have a lot of our patients that come once a month to do IV because you get 100% absorption. So you can see the levels rise really quickly.
The IV, every time I've taken it from you, that next 24 hours, I feel like $1,000,000. Like you feel
instant. Like when I left the clinic just now, I felt like instant mood, instant energy boost right away.
It kind of that first 24 hours, it's like some kind of superhero.
And it'll give you a boost for about 3 weeks. Like it'll stay at the cellular level for about 3 weeks. So most of our patients come like once a month if they're people who are pushing themselves, if they're exhausted or whatever. And then we can switch the form of B12. That's the other thing I want to tell you guys. I said earlier that adenosyl B12, there's different types of B12. Some are for like mitochondria energy. Some are for like detox. Most people are taking methyl B12. That's like the most common form, which is not as energizing as the adenosyl B12. So like it's different variations.
In that cod liver oil that you get me to take, was there B12 in that mixture there too? There's vitamin A in there and vitamin D. Yeah. Where do you have me taking B12 right now? I forget. Anyway, I'll circle back with that on you. I wanted to ask you two things as we kind of start to wrap. Zinc. Why is it important to be taking the zinc? Because I think you said the critical ones were vitamin D, vitamin C, and zinc.
Yes.
Why zinc again?
So zinc is an immune support, and it's also antiviral.
Okay, got it. So in this whole COVID era, you're thinking zinc is an important one because if there's a virus going around there, it can help you.
Yeah. And there's no studies on like, okay, zinc prevents COVID, and we're not saying anything like that, but zinc has been shown, like, especially in a lozenge form, like if you can suck on the zinc lozenges and it'll disable viruses from replicating in the oral cavity. So most viruses...
You just caused a run on zinc at the health food stores. So zinc lozenges.
So where viruses are coming in are usually through the nose and mouth, right? And they're replicating in those areas before they kind of get deeper into the body. So zinc has been shown to prevent the replication of viruses. So lozenges are helpful for that.
Can we overdose on zinc?
You can overdose on anything, I guess.
Yeah,
if you really try.
You can overdose on water.
I guess is it one a day? Like if someone's going to take one an hour versus one a day, what would be?
Like in general, like zinc about 30 milligrams to 50 a day. And if you're taking tablets, you want to have it with food because it'll irritate the stomach lining. But the lozenges are pretty safe on the stomach. They're not as bad. But if you take too much zinc, you'll deplete your copper. So zinc and copper work together. But like in the fall,
how do you get copper? You just chew on a pipe?
Yeah.
What the hell are you getting copper?
Yeah, copper's another chocolate one actually.
Oh my god.
Dark chocolate. It's winning.
But yeah, in the fall, winter, vitamin D, zinc, vitamin C, those are kind of the staples. Those are the evidence-based staples.
What's the deal? Last thing. What's the deal with histamines? When I say histamines to you, does it? Because I've noticed myself, I think pickles have or sauerkraut. Is there histamines in some of these things?
Like histamine rich, like wine would be rich in histamine.
Yeah,
like you mean like an allergy, like allergy?
Yeah, like just what is it about histamines that I think for me don't work well? Is it just in the gut they're reacting a certain way?
Yeah, some people just don't respond well to histamine rich foods in general. Do you get seasonal allergies? I forget now.
Hardly. When everyone else is complaining, I do get some, but not like to the extent that I hear other people complaining about them. Like I never take anything for them. No, not really.
Yeah, like those histamine-rich foods would make you feel like you have allergies.
Yeah, got it. Okay, because I've kind of noticed that. Definitely, the wine thing that you've kind of helped me get through for sure. But some histamine foods, but I thought it was things that were like pickled that had histamines in them, like pickles themselves, sauerkraut, that kind of stuff.
Fermented stuff.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, and then for you too, like you remember we talked your detox pathways? They're like not amazing. So I think a lot of the stuff that happens to you is like what was back in the day was gut related. Your gut's pretty good now, but I think when you get some flare ups, it's like your detox pathways need a little bit of support.
And could histamines block my detox pathways?
Makes it harder to detox them out. Yeah.
Why? Just because I don't work with them well. I can't personally process them.
Yeah. It's kind of like a reactivity that you would have to those.
Got it.
So like you could control histamine release, but I mean, it's just putting a Band-Aid on it. You just want to dodge those foods when you
because I notice when I reduce it, I just feel a lot better.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Hey, Dr. Cowan, I thank you. So anyone who wants to reach out.
Yeah, this is great. You come in, we pepper you with different questions. It's always so informative, man. It's awesome.
And there's always more to talk about. But for someone who wants to reach out, and I'm due for an appointment, website, is that the best way?
Yeah, we have online booking on our website. We're doing everything virtually these days. We do have in-office stuff on Wednesdays and Thursdays. We have 4 doctors on my team, and we have a mental performance coach as well.
Nick needs the mental performance coach. I'm 100% fine on that. Listen,
might be a full-on psychiatrist for me. I don't know if the performance coach is.
That's hilarious. Yeah, and then online booking is probably the easiest way on our website. We do free discovery calls as well if you want to call and just get more info and ask a couple questions. And then we try to put content out all the time. Instagram.
Okay, so what's the Instagram handle and what's the website?
So Instagram at Phenom, it's PHENOM _doc, D-O-C. And the website is Phenom, PHENOM, HPM.com.
So Phenom, and HPM stands for High Performance Medicine.
Yeah.
So Phenom, HPM.com. And if you're listening to this and you can't remember that, we will link to it from rockstarinnercircle.com /podcast. At Dr. Cowan's episode here, it'll be a link to phenomhpm.com. And then that's where you can kind of book the appointments and that kind of stuff. Yeah. And you'll get somebody on the Phenom team is going to respond to you on that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the mental, did you say sports psychologist?
Mental performance coach is kind of like the title, but yeah, just the mental game is so important with people. And most of our patients aren't athletes. Like people always talk about some of the high profile people we work with. Probably like 80% of our patient base is not athletes, just people who want to feel better and function better. And then mental focus for work, dealing with stress, how to handle different situations. She's fantastic for teaching you strategies, breath work, how to control your nervous system,
And is there one entrance point for all new patients into your clinic that you kind of take them all in at the same point and kind of go through things with them? You have a process to bring them in? We have, it's called the Phenom method is our process name, but we basically go through and we have a detailed questionnaire you do first. We're looking for certain issues. Our kind of whole strategy is like assess, correct, and then optimize. Kind of how you were saying earlier, Nick, like you don't want to jump right to optimize without like correcting some of pills.
You want to fix a few things and
would be nice if it was that
really
way,
would
right?
be.
Yeah. And certain things we could do that. Like if you needed to just like, let's say you just started with me today and like, hey, look, I got a huge meeting tomorrow. What can I do? We'd give you a couple of those strategies that will work. A couple of the cheat codes to give you the boost. But
that's great. That's all I want.
You just started smiling.
Give me the cheat code.
Cool. Awesome, Dr. Cowan. We're really grateful. Thank you so much. This was great.
Thank you, guys.
Hey everyone, so hopefully you enjoyed that episode. You can check out Dr. Cowan's stuff at www.phenomhpm.com. So that's phenomhpm.com. And if you're listening to this and you want access to the different videos we put out about real estate investing and monetary policy and all fun stuff, you can check that out at youtube.com /Rockstar Inner Circle. That's www.youtube.com /Rockstar Inner Circle. Until next time, your life, your terms.